Just imagine if this was Valorant in 2021. I'm Fatman and today we're gonna be talking about Valorant and Valorant's RTX graphics and what Valorant could look like in episode 2 and episode 3. Seems like Valorant made a huge progress in episode 1, bringing a lot of new content for fans of Valorant and Riot to enjoy. However, I do think there is a lot of improvement to be made in episode 2. However, I did take a look at how Valorant looks at max graphics and how it looks at lowest graphics. I actually looked at how it could perform in the future. One big way Valorant has to win against one of the biggest FPS games, CSGO, is by fighting it with better graphics. As Valorant graphics get better over time, although they are made for lower end PCs, just like League of Legends. League of Legends also has the same theory. If you make a game where everyone can play it, and regardless if you have a good PC or not, it will bring more players. This is a strategy for every free-to-play game right now. Making games that are easy for the computers to process and making them free-to-play brings massive amount of players to the game. As you can see, this works for almost every single free-to-play game. What's very important to note here is that we have to look at Valorant's graphics. Most of the players at the start, especially CSGO ones, were complaining about Valorant graphics making it look like Borderlands, but let's take a closer look here. As you can see here, it doesn't make a big difference between low versus high. Sure, there are some better improvements for that matter, but you will notice that the graphics stay the same. The graphics are made more for those laptops and computers, where everyone can download Valorant and simply run it. So I think it would be pretty normal to say here that these graphics are made to run for competitive, which I think is definitely true. Now let's look at CSGO's max graphics. This is what CSGO looks like potentially in today's 3090 RTX. Now it's a pretty good graphics card, but do mind this game is from 2013. It could have some improvements over time. However, the classic feel of that graphic at the time is still here. You can't really say if Valorant or CSGO graphics are better, since they made it unique intentionally. Valorant doesn't look like CSGO simply so it's not a CSGO clone, and it's definitely not. Each game represents their own art style and their own sort of vibe. However, it's one important thing to note here. Neither Valorant or CSGO has RTX right now, yet. Now, Battlefield 5 is one of those games that have the strongest graphics available for its time. A lot of people don't play Battlefield 5 because of its gameplay, but instead of their graphics. The graphics are simply immersive and realistic, such Valorant should have in the future. Now, I'm not saying they should be in esports for that matter. Quite the opposite. Graphics should not deter anyone from the gameplay. However, I think RTX would greatly benefit Valorant. There is a single issue with putting higher graphics into Valorant itself, and that is the players who actually would use lower graphics would have a competitive advantage. So let me explain myself. When you're playing with high graphics, you definitely notice how the shadows are prevalent. However, in 2021, I think we could definitely see such gameplay improvement. Not only will the graphics get better over time in Valorant, but the gameplay will as well. If you know, Valorant is here to stay for another 10 years really, and in 10 years a lot of demand to the graphic side can change. Games that were popular 10 years ago aren't popular now anymore, and games that will be popular in 10 years, well, we don't know what those are just yet. One thing we know is that Valorant always provides us with fresh content, but there's actually more than that. You see, Valorant is not just a simple PC game that will die in months. It has years and years of improvements, years and years of development. And there is one more thing to keep in mind here. There is another platform that Valorant has huge huge potential no other game like Valorant has. Now that is mobile and console. Let's start with mobile. Mobile thrives on free-to-play games, which Valorant definitely is. And secondly, it usually needs, well, downgraded graphics for that matter, or really simplistic gameplay mechanics. While, for example, Warzone can never be on mobile, games like Valorant can definitely see their light. Considering there are so many games with the same graphics as Valorant already on mobile, it's definitely a great way for Valorant to get more potential players. However, such example would contradict what I think would happen with Valorant so far. With the RTX being less available on mobile, we could still potentially see it on PC. Considering how big the maps will be in Valorant in the future, how detailed they will be, and the new abilities we will see in the agents, it's most likely possible that Valorant will get more demanding. I think in the next 10 years we could definitely be seeing remodeled agents as far as I'm concerned. That being said, I do think there is someone who deserves better graphics and which is definitely available, and that has to be the next gen consoles for Valorant. Considering the next gen consoles are most likely launching in the end of 2021, that is unofficial reports, but what I'm speculating for that matter, I definitely think there is a lot of potential on how the graphics could be improved to attract new players. 2021 will be a great improvement for Valorant, considering we're getting 4 maps, 2 episodes, 12 new agents. It has a lot of abilities for potential. If you think 12 agents is a lot, just consider that they are adding 60 new agents into Valorant. That is 5 years of development before they consider what they should do next. And that is a lot of choices for the meta. Considering Valorant in alpha, and while it looks right now looked very different, it will also look very different in the next 3 years or so. That being said, I do think 2021 is a great year for Valorant to actually show something to us and reveal anything in mind. Also, I do want to say that there is another possibility that I found. Well, Valorant Hub did. Valorant Hub recently released a video on how Valorant could look like in Blender. That is a great way to show you other possibilities of how Valorant could end up looking like. Anyway, I do really want to thank you from my heart for this year and following my content. I've been getting a lot of nice comments, and I definitely wish you stay here because sincerely, I'm just very happy that we built a community inside Valorant. Hopefully, if you're new here, you would end up subscribing for more Valorant content. But that being said, I wish you have a great year, or well, the rest of it. So happy new year and see ya in the next one. This is Fatman, signing out. Peace, guys.